Motivote is a web app that gives organizations a more effective way to activate the young people in their networks. We do that with social accountability and gamification.
What are the biggest challenges you're facing, or you think you'll face, or questions you have for me about how to approach the fundraising and things like that?
Yeah, we're fairly confident that there's an opportunity to build a huge business in this space. We're solving a clear pain point for customers, and they're spending a lot of money on things that don't work. We're giving them something that does. But I think some people don't think of voting or civic engagement as like even a typical market that they'd be in. So it's addressing some of the, how do we address head on some of the misconceptions there?
I think one of the biggest problems here is that many of the investors won't really understand or appreciate how much money is being spent on tools like this to get people to vote. Do you have a list of all the organizations and know how much they spend, or no?
We know what they spend relatively in each category, but it is very dependent on how much they fundraise that cycle.
And the total fundraising amount is what in a year?
Like, so the 12.5
That's it.
billion.
That's the 12.5 billion.
Yeah, is what they're spending. Really anything, right, that they fundraise,
Anything
they're
they fundraise, they're spending. So that's it. So it's the 12.5
Yeah.
billion. Okay. I think it'd be interesting if you did have a list
Yeah.
from top to bottom on all the organizations. How many organizations did you say there were?
So in the C3, C4 category, over $1 million.
But it'd be interesting to show whether it is the top 10,000 that represent the majority of that, and show from the biggest to the smallest how much money they're raising, and an estimate for how much you think they're spending on tooling.
Yeah.
And then how much you expect to get of that to show the percentage share, almost like a bottoms up kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then break it down into tranches, like this group here, these is 5,000, these are 2,000, these are 1,000, 500, 200, 100, and you add it all up and said you kind of did a bottoms up to get to your revenue model in 5 years. I think the more transparency you have and the more detail, I think the stronger the argument will be.
Yeah, I think that's great, and will help break down this idea of, okay, we know this chunk of money is spent, but what does that really look like?
And that kind of like gives you some nice guardrails as to like, this is real, and there's real money to be made here.
Yeah.
So I would focus on the transparency piece of it, and then focus on getting customers in each of those buckets as proof. What else have you heard? What other things?
Here, our growth plan takes us that we're starting with election-focused organizations, and then we're moving to this year-round civic engagement model, and we think there's a opportunity to get revenue from companies that use Motivote they can sponsor actions, they can sponsor prizes as a way to connect with this generation. And on one hand, that opens up our customer base to really every company in America, and we all know how important it is for companies to show that they're making a positive social impact, supporting democracy. The story gets complicated.
Yeah,
and
I wouldn't go there.
It's like it's not even.
I wouldn't even go there.
Like, I don't even.
So this is an important part of just pitching generally.
Yeah, it's like I want to tell.
You have to stay really focused.
Yeah.
If you get a question about, like, can you really do it on elections only, or are you going to need to do some other stuff? That's like the bait. If you say, we could actually do this, civil, and it could be then you're like, no. What you basically just told me is like the election thing doesn't stand on its own.
Okay.
And so even if that's true, it doesn't stand on its own, which is a whole separate problem. I think still your best chance is to prove that it can.
And we believe that
you believe it can. The less things you need to believe, the higher the probability they're going to invest. That's all. If you have like 10 things you need to believe, people's heads just spin.
Yeah, that means, because you asked like what else we hear, and the thing we hear all the time is like, okay, well, this is very cyclical, or this is very seasonal business, and then we say, well, we can make money year round with this civic engagement model.
It's true, but that's a trick question.
Yeah.
It's a trick question. It's like TurboTax. When do they make their money? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's businesses that are just,
that's
Halloween shop.
I was gonna say, I'm like, Christmas is
Halloween
seasonal.
costumes.
Yeah.
Christmas. I mean, like there's so many businesses. So it's a trick question. I'd like, rather than, sometimes actually it's a purposeful question to kind of throw you off and get you, see if you get defensive about it. And I would be really offensive to be like, yes, it is. It is just like just like taxes, just like, Halloween and Christmas and season. Yeah, it is. But we have actually a 4-month season, so a third of the year we're making revenue, and we're talking big dollars. And you need to walk them through the details of it. So again, it's just keeping the argument and what you have to believe in as tight a box as possible is going to improve your probability. So it's like tight and then deep in terms of the details of it.
Yeah.
So that you can believe all the stuff we said. I think if you were able to do that and tighten the box, and hit any question, anything they ask you, whatever, that's correct. It's seasonal. Like, yes.
Yeah.
And it's a great business.
So you gave really good feedback about putting on the first slide, the way I clearly explained what Motivote is, and I'm wondering what else resonates the most that I should lead with.
When you go in and pitch an investor,
Yeah.
they're going to get the deck, you're going to send it to them. They're going to quickly look through it. You want to just be able to weave this really quick narrative that is like, this is what we are, this is our mission, this is our big vision, this is the problem we're trying to solve, this is the solution, this is the business model, how we make money, here's kind of the financials, here's the team, and here's how much money we're looking at. Something like that, like it's like tight, and you can just quickly get into it, I get it, and you want them to come in with the vision. If there's a lot of slides, you kind of missed what's the most important slide, and it's just like you peanut butter through it. You can have some of this stuff on the side as you go, and you do the quick sort of pitch.
Someone will ask me a question. I'm like, oh, that wasn't in our deck. I should put in the answer.
Yeah,
but it doesn't need to be.
It doesn't need to be in the deck. That's it. No, it's a really good point. It's just a good lesson for everyone.
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot of questions, and the tendency would be put it in the deck. I would say keep it on the side and have it.
Yeah.
So that and it also looks like you're anticipating the questions. It's like,
right.
Oh yeah, actually, and you're just like, yeah, I actually have this here.
I have it, but I don't need to, because I think I have the tendency to put everything like, look,
deck.
I did all my homework.
Yeah,
no, it confuses.
I wouldn't put it in the deck. I'd keep it really tight, and keep in mind, people will spend, just minutes, probably scanning through to see if it sparks their interest, and so the tighter it is, the tighter the story is. I think the higher the probability that you'll get interest. There's also a lot of words on the pages. I like to more this sort of paint by numbers, where it's like you're showing pictures instead of having somebody read. And these things that I'm reading here are great voiceover for you as you're giving it, but looking at the charts and the graphs and saying to yourself, how can I tell this story visually without having someone need to read? And if the visual doesn't sit on its own without the words, then it's not a great visual. The key is, can you, within a few minutes, somebody scanning this deck get excited about investing?
Yeah, because I think I'm realizing I'm trying to answer all the questions that someone could ask. I'm like, well, this is how we get users on, and this is
two different things.
Yeah.
Answering the questions you can do in person, or you could do with some extra sheets.
Yeah.
You're just trying to get in the door and excite an investor and say, wow, I want to talk to Jess. This seems interesting.